Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of our colors by the JROTC Virginia Group 821 and the singing of our national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this memorable occasion in the lives of our George Mason High School seniors. We extend an especially warm welcome to the friends and families of our seniors. We know that some of you have traveled great distances to be with us this evening. We thank you. I'm joined on stage by George Mason valedictory scholars and speakers, Charles Boland, Hannah Rollins, and Uadon Teddy. We are greatly honored by the presence and participation of the Honorable Justin E. Fairfax, Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for joining us today. Also joining us on stage are Senior Class President, Sedona DeSint, Senior Class Vice President, Hannah Rollins, Senior Class Secretary, Adjoa Nkuma, Senior Class Treasurer, Samuel Updike, Class Representative, William Langan, Superintendent, Dr. Peter Noonan, Chief Academic Officer, Ms. Lisa High, Chief Operations Officer, Ms. Kristen Michael, School Board Vice Chair, Mr. Philip Reidinger, Mayor of Falls Church City, Mayor David Tarter, Director of Counseling, Ms. Alana Reyes, Senior Class Advisors, Mr. William Snyder and Mr. Brad McAdam, Assistant Principals, Dr. Kevin Clark and Mr. Dave Sorensis, Athletic Director, Ms. Julie Braven, School Counselors, Ms. Valerie Chesley and Ms. Dana Kieran, Band Director, Ms. Mary Jo West and the George Mason Wind Ensemble, and to the left of the stage, Choral Director, Ms. Jamie Sample, and the George Mason High School Combined Choirs. I now invite Class Vice President Hannah Rollins to come forward and welcome you on behalf of her fellow seniors.
Hello, how's everybody doing? Good? Yeah, all right. Well, my name is Hannah Rollins, and I would like to welcome family, friends, teachers, administrators, honored guests, and our fellow graduates to the commencement ceremony of George Mason High School, class of 2018. On behalf of our class, I'd like to thank our parents for the constant love and support, teachers for their excellent guidance, and friends for always being there throughout our high school years. Also, a big thank you to our class sponsors, Mr. Snyder and Mr. McAdam. Finally, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2018 on all of their accomplishments over the past 4 years of high school, and wish you the best luck in your future endeavors. Come on, guys, we did it. Woo! It is now my sincere pleasure to introduce the School Board Vice Chair, Mr. Philip Reidinger, who will bring greetings from the school board.
What a wonderful day. It is my pleasure to welcome you all as well from the school board. This is the culmination of 4 years, really 13 years of very hard work. And we, the school board, are proud of all of you, the graduates, the parents and families, distinguished guests, faculty and staff for the job that you've done. Congratulations, and let's go.
Good afternoon, graduates. Congratulations to all of you. Today, I have the distinct opportunity to recognize the students that are pursuing the International Baccalaureate Diploma and this year's George Mason Scholars and Valedictory Scholars. The International Baccalaureate, or IB Diploma, is awarded to students who have elected to pursue the most rigorous course of study that's available at George Mason High School. These students took 7 or more college-level courses, completed a philosophy course called The Theory of Knowledge, and wrote an extended essay on a topic of their choice. Further, they documented numerous extracurricular activities, including creative endeavors, their participation in clubs, organizations, and sports, and their service learning efforts throughout the community do not go unnoticed. The award of an IB diploma will be based on the successful completion of all of the IB diploma requirements and the grades earned on those IB exams. This year, we have 47 students that are receiving recognition for IB diploma candidacy. They're wearing gold medallions with red and black neck ribbons, and that signifies the achievement in their International Baccalaureate Diploma program. Will the candidates please stand for recognition at this time? Congratulations. The George Mason Scholar Award recognizes the outstanding academic achievement of our graduating seniors. This award is presented to students who have completed a high school program which includes a minimum of 25 credits, a cumulative grade point average of 3.85, and following courses taken for letter grades. 4 years of social studies, 4 years of college preparatory mathematics, 3 years of one foreign language or 2 years of 2 different foreign languages, 3 years of lab sciences and international baccalaureate courses in 2 different disciplines. This year, it's my honor to recognize 71 students that are receiving this award. They are wearing silver medallions this evening to signify their outstanding academic achievement. Will the recipients of the George Mason Scholar Award please stand for recognition at this time? Congratulations. And finally, we recognize 53 students tonight who have earned the distinction of being named George Mason Valedictory Scholars. By maintaining a cumulative grade point average of 4.0 or better throughout their entire high school career. Tonight, they're wearing gold medallions to signify their outstanding academic achievement. Will the recipients of the George Mason Valedictory Scholar Award please stand for recognition? Thank you, and congratulations to all of you for your outstanding work and your commitment to excellence throughout the last 4 years of your high school career.
Good evening, family, faculty, distinguished guests, and class of 2018. Today, we have reached a milestone. Sitting in front of me are risk takers, thinkers, communicators, and open-minded individuals who are ready to start the next stage of their lives. We carry with us accomplishments, but also bittersweet memories, such as the all-nighters we had to pull because we decided to procrastinate and wait the night before our essays are due, or dodging the IB coordinator, Mr. Coast, because our extended essay was due 2 weeks ago, or the accomplishment of getting first place in the class Kahoot. Our hearts racing as we try to finish a page of entry in our RWN as Miss Weston makes her way towards us. And the frustration we felt when we're in class at 8 a.m. knowing that Fairfax had another snow day. Today we close that chapter of our life and start a new one. First and foremost, I would like to thank God the Almighty, my parents, siblings, and my wonderful extended family who have sacrificed so much for me. I'm sagrado. Let's give a round of applause to all our families, teacher, and the George Mason team, without whom we wouldn't have gone to where we are now. Graduation is a moment of celebration, but it's also a moment of reflection, as IB loves to remind us. When I moved to Falls Church 2 years ago from Ethiopia, I thought it would be impossible for me to adjust and fit in such a different environment and school system. It wasn't just the fact that I didn't know how Schoology worked, or that I didn't grow up in this little city, but I missed my siblings, my friends, and my home. I was no longer in my comfort zone, and that's what I want to talk about today, comfort zone. I was lucky enough to get a chance to live in a wonderful neighborhood where everyone was welcoming. I was even luckier to go to George Mason, a school that offered every student an opportunity to pursue what they are passionate about, whether that be through academics, music, sport, or art. During my junior year, we were asked to write a poem. Part of it reads, "The land of opportunity, building a home in a different community. Afraid to fall, so I went to church. Then hope came, I've done my research. Unlike an ownerless beast, I found my place. Ironically, a Mustang became my saving grace. Mason always made sure that our time here was special and everyone found comfort. But alas, this comfort ends today as we all begin new chapters in life. Some of us will go far from home while others will remain nearby. We might dislike it at first, we will definitely feel uncomfortable, and we may even fail. We are creatures of habit, and when our habits are disrupted, there is a moment of confusion and panic. But we will grow, we will learn, and we will create a new comfort zone. I say this because of how I am today. I know the school like the back of my hand, and the once strangers are now my friends. Things that made me panic because they were unfamiliar to me are the things I now do unconsciously. We've grown from the wide-eyed, scared freshmen to earning our place at the throne, in the senior alcove and the senior courtyard. As Drake said, started from the bottom, now we're here. We are about to go to college and start at the bottom all over again as beloved freshmen. Our new comfort zone awaits. Before I leave, I would like to say one more thing. Remember to cherish every moment, and not just the big ones like graduation, but also the small ones. Snapshots of these small but significant moments are what collectively create the bigger, more colorful picture we call life. And when you look back at your life, you'll be able to point out different places where you found your comfort zone. I wish all graduates luck in their future endeavor and their journey to change the world for the better. Thank you.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere?
Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear?
So let that lonely feeling wash away. 'Cause maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And someone will come running, and I know the day
to carry you when you're broken on the ground. Reach up and you rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. When the dark comes crashing down, you will be found. Someone to carry you, you will be found. You will be
Have you ever tried giving a speech with a cat toy in front of your head? It's very distracting. Warning, the following presentation is available courtesy of 12 years in the Falls Church City Public School education system. Any ideas or content are not subject to further explanation. Goggles are encouraged but not required, and please keep your hands and arms down, like when a teacher asks a question in class. This speech was made possible by Mike Stelly, Puberty, and viewers like you. Thank you. Friends, FBI agents that monitor my computer, Oompa Loompas in the class of 2018. Good evening and welcome to a crash course on how to do laundry. Now, I'm sure you were expecting me to stand up here and talk about the numerous achievements of the class of 2018. Academic, athletic, arts, robotics, and the positive impact we've had on our community. Fun fact, the year that the class of 2018 entered kindergarten, a DC sports team, DC United, won a championship. And after a 12-year drought, the Capitals just won the Stanley Cup. I mean, if that's not a positive impact on our community, I don't know what is. Anyways, I'll leave the sports talk to David Miller. I'd rather talk about laundry. In a mere 3 months, you'll be going off to start a new chapter of your life. College, career, the military, becoming a famous YouTuber, following Justin Bieber's revival tour, you name it. In 4 months, you'll look into your closet and come to find nothing but a Ratchet Mason t-shirt that your mom made you pack for sentimental reasons. Where did all your clothes go? You look into the corner and wince at the heaping pile of dirty laundry with pizza crust intertwined. Now, there are many steps to doing laundry, as many of you graduates probably don't know. I bet you $100 that it is harder for you to learn how to do your own laundry than it was passing Mr. Walsh's freshman year English class. We have all grown academically, physically, and mentally throughout our years at Mason, along with our t-shirt size. Except you, Mr. Stu. I still see you wearing George Mason class of 2007 t-shirts all the time. Anyway, on to the crash course. First, press the button on the washing machine to start the water. This should look like the constant stream of water leaking from the ceilings of Mason. Next, empty your pockets. You'll find money like the money found to build a new school in the coming years. Rocks like our playground boulder at Mary Ellen Henderson Middle School. Little plastic toys that you will soon see, and turf from the many achievements that our class has provided for the Mason Athletic Program. Next, throw your clothes into the washing machine, unless you're Dr. DeFazio, in which there is a year-long syllabus for which clothes to wash on what day. Now, as you look inside the washer, you see many different types of clothing awkwardly close to each other, just like you all in the audience. This wacky mixture of clothing reminds me of the class of 2018. Chaotic and a mess. But More importantly, our ability as a class to create close connections with our classmates that have different interests than our own. Our ability to stand out as individuals, but build a bright, colorful community when we come together as one. Enough was the sappy talk. Let's talk about the soapy part of laundry. Next, pour the detergent into the washer. The detergent cleans our clothes like our teachers, administrators, counselors, and most importantly, our parents make sure we are focused in the right direction. Now, close the lid on the washer, and you're all ready to go. Simple and easy like graduating high school, right? Well, sometimes there are mishaps. Clothes can get stuck in the middle part of the washer, just like Sam Updike's knee in the guardrail during PE at MEH. Too much laundry can be loaded to the machine and cause the machine to wash your clothes in an overly aggressive manner, like the 2017 Powder Puff football game. However, with mishaps come marvels, like a red shirt turning a white shirt into a beautiful pink color, like your high school best friend making you a better person even without you realizing it. Now, don't forget to take your clothes out of the washer and put them into the dryer, or you'll end up with the same mold growing on your shirts that infests the ceilings of Mason. And on that day, when you over dry your Mason Senior shirt and it is too small for you to wear, just remember, you'll never go out of being a Mustang. Congratulations, class of 2018. It's been an honor to stand alongside you for the past 12 years. I'll miss it.
At this time, I would like to recognize two of my colleagues who are serving as faculty marshals. They led our distinguished faculty into the hall this evening. We honor Miss Eleanor Hawksworth. Miss Hawksworth joined the George Mason community in our social studies department in 1992 and is retiring after 26 years of service. There we go. We would also like to honor Miss Bridget Dean Pratt. Miss Dean Pratt began teaching in the English department at George Mason in 1991. She too is retiring after 27 years of service. Thank you for your incredible service to these seniors and to many other Mustangs before them. I now invite Class Treasurer Samuel Updike to come forward for the presentation of the class gift.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Each year, the senior class at George Mason High School presents the community with a gift. This year, the class of 2018 has continued our school's long-standing relationship with the Falls Church Winter Homeless Shelter. Throughout the winter, the senior class cooked and donated meals to the shelter weekly, and as our senior gift, we will donate the remainder of our class account to the shelter. We are very grateful for everything the Falls Church community has done for us on the path to graduation, and it is only fitting that we are able to give something back in return. Thank you.
Get your textbooks. Memorize facts and figures. Earn a high grade point average. Get into a good college and buy more textbooks. Like it says on the shampoo bottles, wash, rinse, and repeat until you graduate with a good job. This, according to conventional wisdom, will lead to a meaningful and happy life. But what if conventional wisdom is wrong? We don't need textbooks. We don't use textbooks. That's what a college professor told me 3 weeks ago at the University of Virginia. I followed conventional wisdom throughout high school, certain that it would lead me to fulfillment and happiness. 4 of my fellow graduates, Adam Hinden, Chloe Sanders, Tenzin Namgyal, and Grace Johnson, studied as hard as the rest of us. But they went beyond the textbooks to find meaning and happiness in their own ways. Inspired by their experiences, I asked for and received their permission to tell you their stories today. I discovered Adam Hinden's story when I participated in our drama production of Metamorphosis this spring. During one rehearsal, Mr. Northrop decided to play music as I delivered my lines. Suddenly, I felt a surge of emotion from the most incredible soundtrack I had ever heard in a play. After rehearsal, I scoured the web for songs, but I found nothing. I got goosebumps, I told Adam the next day as I recounted the music. But I can't find it anywhere. Oh, Adam said, chuckling, I made that. From a young age, Chloe Sanders was given strict instructions on what it means to be a woman, how to look like a woman, think like a woman, and act like a woman, all according to the conventional wisdom of her European heritage. But none of it fit. Over the past 4 years in IB Art, Chloe has worked to shatter the stereotypes. From striking canvases of the human body to giant bras made of wire and fabric, she now creates her own identity as a woman through art. Chloe aspires to continue this endeavor this fall at Rutgers University. When high school photographer Tenzin Namgyal attended a rally against gun violence in February, he found himself in an uncomfortable position. As Congressman Don Beyer stood to the podium to deliver remarks, most photographers assumed their regular positions at the sidelines. Cornered by the crowd, Tenzin began snapping photos of Beyer from under the podium. Impressed by his unconventional work, the Don Beyer team asked to post his photos on their Instagram account. Moving into college, Tenzin seeks to combine his unique style of semi-surrealist photography with political action. Grace Johnson began working in medicine during her sophomore year in high school. She volunteers at several Inova hospitals and the Dale City Fire Department. Each time that Grace confronts a patient, she wonders if she'll lose her confidence and fail to help someone in need. But every time that Grace has stepped up, whether it was responding to a waiter having a seizure in Mike's Deli, or treating gunshot wounds in the back of an ambulance, or even volunteering in Ecuador, she recommits herself to saving lives. Grace aims to work as an EMT this summer before attending University of Utah's School of Nursing this fall. Since none of these students have a 4.0 grade point average, they were not eligible to speak at graduation today. But here's my key point. If we only look at grade point averages, these are the remarkable stories that we miss. Adam, Chloe, Tenzin, and Grace are each hugely talented in their own ways as they explore their passions. But what unites them is far more important. They found meaning and happiness at George Mason High School by straying away from conventional wisdom, by looking beyond their textbooks to learn outside of the classroom, and by rejecting any link between their sense of self-worth and their GPA. To the class of 2018, over these next 4 years, I'm rooting for all of you to challenge conventional wisdom, to forge your own path, and to find your own sense of meaning and happiness. Thank you, and good luck.
Good evening, seniors, parents, family, and friends. The commencement speaker for this evening's ceremony is the Honorable Justin Fairfax, 41st Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. He graduated in the year 2000 from Duke University with a degree in public policy, and later from Columbia Law School in 2005. While he was born in Pittsburgh, he has grown up in the DC area, so no worries, he's probably a Caps fan. In addition to being a dedicated public servant, he is a prominent lawyer and philanthropist, a proud husband and father, and a fundamental pillar of the community. We are pleased to welcome the Honorable Justin Fairfax as the Class of 2018's graduation speaker.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am so honored to be here with you tonight. What an incredible occasion, what a great class of young scholars. And I'm hopefully looking forward to all of the things that you will accomplish and achieve in your lives. I was born in Pittsburgh. I'm going to plead the fifth on who I was rooting for in the playoffs, but today I'm proud to see that George Mason is rocking the red. You guys are doing it, and I'm so proud of every single one of you. Thank you all. My family and I, we actually have a little bit of a connection to George Mason High School. We have two young children, an 8-year-old son named Cameron and a 7-year-old daughter named Karis. And our daughter Karis actually plays lacrosse for our local Annandale Lacrosse Club, and her games were played on Sunday at George Mason High School. So we would often be there on the field. And we picked lacrosse because we needed a sport where our daughter could hit people legally. And so we really have enjoyed spending time at your incredible high school. To Superintendent Dr. Peter Noonan, school board members, Mr. Redinger, thank you for your leadership. To the principal, Matt Hills, our assistant principals, Kevin Clark, David Sorensitz, and Dean of Students, Adam White. I'm so honored to be here with you today. I look forward to all that you have accomplished and all that you will accomplish. I, like your families, your friends who are gathered here today, am overcome with pride in all that you have achieved in your lives. I see the future of the country here in this hall tonight, and that future is incredibly bright. To the faculty, staff, parents, family, friends, alumni, and most importantly, to the graduates in the great class of George Mason High School 2018, thank you for inviting me to celebrate on this really, truly special occasion. I'm going to tell you 3 short stories here today, and I hope to convince you of 3 things. I'm a trial lawyer, and we always like to make our case and have you remember what was said. The first thing that I want to convince you of is that you can overcome any odds and obstacles in your lives, and I'll share a story about that. The second thing is that each and every one of you is your family's and your ancestors' wildest dreams. And I want to share a story about that. And finally, and just as importantly, I believe that every single one of you has the potential and will, in fact, change the world. And I want to share a story about that. The first story is about overcoming odds and challenges in your lives. As was mentioned, I was born in Pittsburgh, but actually was raised right here in Washington, D.C., about 15 minutes away in Northeast D.C. We moved here in the mid-1980s when I was about 6 years old. My parents, both of whom I love very dearly, got divorced because life happens. And what that meant was that my mother, who had 4 children, and I was the youngest of those 4, had to find a place to start over. And fortunately for us, that place was with my late maternal grandparents, 2 of the best people I have ever known. My grandfather was a Howard University graduate. He was a World War II veteran, fought in the European theater. And when he came back from the war, he worked at the United States Postal Service for over 45 years and walked to work every single day. My grandmother also was a Howard University graduate. She was a nurse at Freedman's Hospital for over 40 years. And when their oldest child, my mom, came knocking at their door saying that she needed a place to start over, they did something really incredible, and they took all 5 of us into their home. It was a tiny row home in Northeast Washington, D.C. They did not have a lot of money or a lot of space, but they had a lot of love for their family. And that single act of love and generosity and courage changed the entire trajectory of our lives. My mom was able to save up enough money working as a pharmacist. Do you all remember People's Drug by chance? None of the students do. That's CVS Pharmacy, if you ever go. I'm dating myself. She worked for 30 years at People's Drug, was able to save up enough money to buy the home right across the street from my grandparents. It's the house where she still lives today. And just as improbably, with the help of so many people, my mother was able to put all 4 of her children through college and 2 of us through law school, starting from that place. And what I like to say is that, thank you. Thank you. What I like to say is that to make that really improbable story possible, people gave us something that I like to call spiritual wealth. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had faith, and we had hope, and we had optimism. We got a high-quality education like the one you've received here at George Mason. We had people who believed in us and said, no matter how dark today may seem, tomorrow can be brighter. And you have to believe that every single day of your life. But they also taught us this, that you have to lift other people as you climb. Life is not solely about your success. When you get that kind of spiritual wealth that changes your life, you then have a spiritual debt that you must repay. And you have to go out and fight and make that story possible for someone else. So you all will encounter many challenges and obstacles in your lives, and many of you already have. But I want to assure you that because of the spiritual wealth that your families, your communities, and George Mason have given to you, you will be able to overcome every single one of them. The second story I'd like to share hopefully will convince you that you are, and that we all are, our ancestors' wildest dreams. I was inaugurated as 41st Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia on January the 13th of this year. And 20 minutes before I walked out the Capitol steps to take the oath of office, my father brought me a piece of paper that I'd never seen before in my life. He walked over to me. We were in the basement of the Capitol. And at first, I thought it was a bill for him raising me, so I gave it back to him. I said, Dad, now is not the time for that. But he insisted that I take this piece of paper, and I'm glad that he did. Because what it was actually the manumission document that freed my great-great-great-grandfather, Simon Fairfax, from slavery in Fairfax, Virginia, on June the 5th, 1798, 220 years ago. Thank you. And that document was discovered for the very first time 2 days before my inauguration in the Fairfax County Courthouse. My father had received a copy a day before, and he handed it to me 20 minutes before I walked out. And so at the time that I raised my right hand to take the oath of office, I had in my breast pocket the document that freed my great-great-great-grandfather. And he likely could not have imagined even sitting or standing on the steps of the Capitol in Richmond, and certainly not holding statewide office. But I like to believe that he dreamed that it was possible for one of the kids who came down the line in his family. And I share that with you because that really is not just my family's story. It is Virginia's story, but it also is America's story. And it's your story. I believe that every single one of us has a different version of that exact same story. You have people who have hoped for you, who have dreamed for you, who knew that one day you would come along. They sacrificed. They poured everything that they had into the possibility of you. And you carry that now with you. You're the pride of your family, of your grandparents, your moms, your dads, your stepmoms, your stepdads, your cousins, your uncles, all the people who form your village. And we could not be prouder of who you are now and who you are becoming. And so I want you to always keep in mind that you are the product and the culmination of many generations of people believing, hoping, praying, and working. And I know that you will make them all proud. And thank you. And the final story that I want to share hopefully will convince you that you will be able to change the world. In many ways you already have, but I can imagine the things that you will do going forward. I, as Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, preside over the Senate of Virginia. We have 40 senators, as you all know, because you learned that in civics class. And we have 21 Republicans, 19 Democrats, a very evenly divided body, incredibly cordial. And on May the 30th of this year, as we wrapped up our special session, we were finishing our budget. We do biennial budgeting in Virginia every 2 years for about a $115 billion budget. And one of the issues revolved around how we expand access to health care in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And while there were many opinions on all sides of this issue, I was happy to say that we were able to come to a bipartisan compromise. And in my role as Lieutenant Governor, I get to break ties in the Senate whenever there are tied votes. We ended up having 4 20 votes on our budget around this issue of health care. Because I was able to sit in that chair, I broke those ties, and now 400,000 Virginians are going to have access to health care who otherwise would not have had it. And I share that story because that story is not about me at all. It's about the many people who will now have access to health care, but just as importantly, it's about all those people who I described over the years, who have created opportunities, who have made it possible to move forward in life. It's about Simon Fairfax, who 220 years ago got his freedom and hoped for a brighter day. It's about my mom, who made that drive down from Pittsburgh in an old beat-up car without a lot of money, but with hope in her eyes and for her 4 children. It is the same story that your families in a different version share with each one of you. And so I am so encouraged. I know that sometimes it can be tough in this environment for people to come together to find inspiration and hope, but this is the inspiration and hope that's going to carry us forward into a much brighter day in the Commonwealth of Virginia and in this country and really around the world. So I want to thank you all so much. In honor of the hockey team, I was going to write out my speech in all caps, but then I'd scream at you the whole time, and that's not a good thing. But this is the red that I'm so proud to see this week. God bless you all. Go change the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It is now my distinct pleasure to invite my colleagues, Ms. Reyes, Director of Counseling, Mr. McAdam and Mr. Snyder, Senior Class Advisors, Ms. Chesley and Ms. Kieran, Counselors, to join me in presenting the diplomas to the Class of 2018.
Adjoa, Yakoba, and Kuma. Sedona, Francis, Descent. William Thomas Langen. Samuel Thomas Updike. Yuadan Georgis Teddy. Hannah Marie Rollins. Charles Boland. William Gustav Abruzzi. Robert Alexander Adepietro. Daniela Sofia Alfaro. Sarah Elizabeth Alverson. Arlie John Russell Amaranto. Jacqueline Adeline Anderson. Rovasoa Timothy Adrian Arison. Ronaldo Antizana. Isabella Esther Armstrong. Isabella Amelia Ashton. Christopher Alexander Allen Autor. Ready? Renan Ayala Rosales. Jack Bevel Bandy. Jeffrey Michael Bandy. Lucas Alexander Bartel. Catherine Delgado. Jessie Rose Beto. Nicole Abba Bloomgarden. Alexandra Blossbaum. Reed Charles Bond. Anya Katerina Bonneau. Eliza Cecily Bonilla. Hope Paxton Bossert. Aubrey Virginia Broxson. Frederick Charles Bruner. Emma Justine Burry. Jordan James Byrne. Victoria Wong Bisfield. Nicole Casero. Henry Paul Casillas. Arthur Jonathan Chapman. Tristan Stephan Charpentier. Anish Chatterjee. Nicholas Tiger Chung. Catherine Grace Chiari. Olivia Allison Cipriano. Richard Cuneo Columbia. William Michael Comstock. Cyril Raymond Contessa. Gordon Christopher Copeland. Thomas William Creed. Cole Curo. I got it. Michael Francis Curtin III. Diavion Monet Colbert. Caitlin Elizabeth Daniels. Rigel Charles Date. Meredith Ann Davis. Thomas Bartlett Dean. Angela Catalina Cyril Valles Delau. Celine Dees. Elizabeth Marie Dodge. Alexander Dorsey. Hannah Lynn Dooney. Angara Zaya Elberelt. Evangeline Ellis. Nicholas Clayton Fellows. Craig Powell Fisher. Benjamin Fong. Matthew Allen Fredden. Do it. Liam Esquil Didier Fribley. Working on it. Victoria Raquel Friend. Logan Funk.
William Steve Gaskins Jr. Justin Michael Jamond. Ivy Irene Giz. George Thomas Gilligan. John Robert Gilligan. Nuki Giorgadze. Isaiah Gomez. Meriwether Elizabeth Gordon. John Zygmunt Grondelski. Amelia Hope Grove. Lydia Wagner Grund. Peter David Hensel. Craig Edward Hagee. Katarina Genevieve Hansen. Lydia Faith Hansen. Danielle Anna Keys Hatsianis. Megan Meredith Hayes. Adam King Hinden. Catherine Lee Hirsch. Claire Auden Hiscott. Nathaniel Gregory Holmes. Blake Miles Hopkins. Kayla Dion Howard. Heiju Zhang. Alexandra Katarina Johns. Grace Margaret Johnson. Meredith Jean Johnson. Jonathan Kyle Jura. Adrian Mo Kamel. Yvonne Casa. Devin Ian Farquharson Keith. Dean Christopher Kim. Joshua Kane King. Leah Macht Kleinberg. Mary Rose Klemick. David Matthew Koslow. Christopher Stephen Kruger. Rachel Bruce Lambert. Houston Bird Langford. Elliot Arthur Levery. Mary Grace Lizotte. Mackenzie Grace Loy. Marjorie Lopez Murillo. Matthew Ling. Sarah Ann Maller. Clara Rose Matten. Sophia Elaine Matten. Rachel Vivian Matz. Peyton Mackenzie McClure. Kara Elizabeth McFall. Cooper James McGuire. Mitchell James McKeon. Neil Kumar Menon. Carlos James Mercado. Nicole Marie Michelli. David Lawrence Miller. Catherine Grace Mills. Ella Elizabeth Moon Brown. Gavin Arthur Morrison. Ethan Dean Morse. Farron Shaosha Murphy. Megan Viancourt Murphy. Tenson Namgel. Arjun Narayan. Anne Elizabeth Newburn. Allie Marie O'Hanlon. Morgan Pratt Pendleton O'Keefe. Lincoln Oriana.
Sahithi Krishna Pale. Catherine Rose Patterson. Ryder Anthony Favela. Maria de Los Angeles Pereira Martinez. Caroline Layton Perez. Hunter Jacob Plax. Brian John Puller Jr. Maricela Janet Ramirez. Kate Lachlan Reed. Thomas Alexander Flarine Reeves. Elizabeth Paulson Reed. Ivy Fuller Renner. Catherine Elizabeth Rentz. Christian Barton Richards. Nicholas Adedapo Bakari Robin Coker. Amy Elizabeth Roche. Finn Lewis Rue. Ethan William Rosenberger. Christian Leander Ross. Daniel Taylor Ross. Connor Michael Rowe. Victoria Rose Rund. Benjamin Warren Salak. Yatu Jean Sala. Daniel Quinton Sangiovanni. Chloe Jean Sanders. Vasily Ethan Saris. Peter Anthony Scardino. Annette Megan Schlitt. William J.D. Schneider. Aziz Ahmed Sheikh. Jenna Marie Short. Nathan Andrew Seamer. John Joshua Skiba. Linnea Ann Scotty. Sydney Smith. Rebecca Elizabeth Stern. Noah Benjamin Surratt. Brooke Belina Tishome. Delaney Elizabeth Thies. Estelle Anna Timur Wilcox. Grant Justin Tomchik. Hannah Leah Trauberman. Claire Elizabeth Trundle. Trin Quat Fun Yuen. Matthew Hikmet Jacques Viala. John Christopher Walton. Griffin Phillips Warner. Katharina Weber. John Parker West. Laura Catherine Whitaker. Jaden Santina White. Sally Grace Wiley. Kalina Lucille Irene Voitala. Robert Andrew Wong. Annabelle Image. Flynn Samuel Yoder. Chloe Marie Young. Matthew Edward Zampella. Gawanyao Young.
Okay, guys, how do you sum up 4 years of 206 different lives in 2.5 minutes? Anyone? Well, unless you talk like Eva, then I really don't think it's going to be possible. You see, there's just so much ground to cover, like when we crushed the juniors in Powder Puff this year, or when the hallway decorations were a fire hazard our freshman year. It's endless, really. But in all seriousness, the past 4 years have been incredible. It's been said at probably every graduation before ours, but the City of Falls Church is truly a very special place, and it's what makes all of us, the class of 2018, so different from everyone else. We're kind of like Hannah Rollins on a spirit day. Yeah, sure, we have moldy ceilings and fire-catching water fountains, but we also have amazing teachers and a fantastic administration who I'd like to think make up for some of Mason's safety hazards. Take Mr. Snyder, for example. At the beginning of the year, he told me that I should start writing this speech or else I would regret it. Well, what did I do? Of course, I waited 6 months until the night before it was due to write it. I can't fathom how he knew that was going to happen. Nevertheless, this chapter in our lives is quickly coming to a close. Soon, the halls of George Mason High School will become just a memory. It doesn't matter whether you have lived here your entire life or this is your first and last year at Mason, but you will always remember those long bus rides to away games, Mike's Deli, the senior courtyard on a warm day, and the million other things that make Falls Church home. But most of all, we are going to remember each other. Congratulations, class of 2018. It was truly an honor.
Mustangs, I ask you, will you strive for greatness? Will you fight for what you believe in? Will you conquer your fears en route to a successful career? Will you stand apart from the crowd? If these last 4 years for you are any indication of what the next 80 might look like, I think the answer is pretty clear. George Mason High School students are passionate, driven, relentless. Each and every student in this room found a way to masterfully navigate the complexity of high school. No matter the challenge you faced, you stood tall and prevailed. I recently walked into a classroom and came across a student struggling with an assignment. She turned to me and asked, "Mr. Hills, how will this prepare me for the real world?" The "this" she was referring to was simplifying rational expressions, quickly recognizing my mathematical limitations. It was the perfect opportunity for me to shed light on the deeper meaning of high school. High school teaches you the learning process. It turns the comfortable into the uncomfortable. It improves your ability to communicate and collaborate, and challenges you to think critically. It allows you to recognize your weaknesses and how to overcome them. It encourages you to celebrate your strengths and find your niche. High school provides students an opportunity to persevere. The successful completion of high school means you are prepared to face the adversities of the real world. The abridged version of the answer to her question probably should have been, if you find a way to complete the problem, it will translate into lifelong success. I couldn't quite help myself with the long-winded response. As Mustangs, we pride ourselves on being risk takers. We recognize the path to success is not just to be strong in one area, but knowledgeable in many. We find our passion and pursue our dreams while always practicing a sense of balance. I'm reminded of this very model used by Miss Hawksworth. the exceptionally engaging storyteller of history who has devoutly led a 20-year project at GM to recognize active and retired servicemen and women who have been a part of the Mustang community. Thank you, Ms. Hawksworth. I'm also reminded of this by Miss Dean Pratt, a nurturing and supportive Shakespearean guru who led our Poetry Out Loud competitions in an effort to recognize students in a different forum. Miss Dean Pratt and Miss Hawksworth's dedication will have a lasting impact on our community. Mustangs, I implore you to find your passion. Find it in a way that is meaningful, methodical, and mustangular. Yes, I may have just coined a new word, but it represents the path that each of you took to get where you are and where you ultimately want to be. You as George Mason High School graduates are unique in so many ways. You don't settle for mediocrity. You are passionate about your beliefs. You care deeply for one another, and you work hard. Today does not mark the culmination of your academic career, but rather the starting point for endless opportunities that await each of you. On behalf of the faculty of George Mason, the Office of the Superintendent, and the school board, and with the power vested in me by the Department of Education of the Commonwealth of Virginia, I hereby confer upon you these diplomas in recognition of your fulfillment of the requirements for high school graduation. Lieutenant Governor Fairfax, Dr. Noonan, Ms. High, Ms. Michael, Mr. Redinger, Mayor Tarter, faculty of George Mason, parents, relatives, and guests, I present to you the George Mason High School graduated class of 2018, who I know will do whatever it takes. Thank you. Please take a seat, graduates.
Thank you.